Welcome back to the 20 and 20, take two. I'm Jay Swanson and we're in the second arrondissement today of Paris as we make our way down from the 20th all the way to the 1st in this week by week series on 5 of my favorite things in each arrondissement in the City of Light. We're just 2 arrondissements away from finishing this series, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. The second arrondissement where we are today is a hidden gem. It is often overlooked because it has no big parks, it has no major monuments, but it does have a lot of really good food, some great neighborhoods, and some fantastic spots just like this, as well as one of my favorite, if not my favorite library of all time that just recently reopened, is free to enter. It does have a museum that's not free, but we're gonna get to that, and I'll tell you all about it in today's 20 and 20. And be sure to head to parismypocket.com to grab my guide right now, just to get your, all my recommendations all in one go. Let's go. Matamata's been around for a really long time, and recently you might recognize the aesthetic because it's been taken over by Noir. So this is the 3rd time Noir has been in the series, but we're kind of hiding it. The second does have one other location that I was thinking about going for a coffee, but it's more well known for a particular kind of pastry, which you might have to go try, although that could be a lot of sugar for one day. So as far as coffee goes, this is going to be your spot in the second. Hopefully they're going to be adding a couple more as we go. And there is a spot we're going to be going to in the first that is right across the street from the second, but I didn't want to cheat. I figured I'd keep it real. So this is our spot in the second today in Matamata. The cookies are good, the cold brew is great. What more do you really need to know? And it's in a decent location to set us up to walk to the library. Gotta get caffeinated for your educational treats. The galleries of the second arrondissement are one of the things you want to come and see while you're here. The covered galleries, the walkways, shops, restaurants, bars, so many fun things. We're in Galerie Vivienne right now, which is a really fun, classy one, not far from Palais Royal. Easy to get to, easy to stroll through, lots of little shops. There's a perfume creator, there's an art gallery or two, clothing. But the 2 things that I would recommend here that I have in videos before is wine and food. Wine from Gave Le Grand and food from De Rocco, which we're not gonna get into today because they have been in previous videos, but they're both very good. If you'd like a little bit of a tipple or you'd like some pizza, you're not gonna go wrong with either. You're not gonna go wrong in Galerie Vivienne. There are, of course, a couple other galleries in my guide that I really love that actually have tons of options, like really diverse options for food and drinks. Be sure you check that out at parismypocket.com. But if you just want to come here, I mean, you're gonna win. It's gonna be great. And thanks to the Rexes of my life, my patrons, and today's patron producer is Steve Weaver. Steve's been with me for a long freaking time. Just barely not as long as my sister. He's been around for like 6 years, I think. You think I would, it's from 2017? Yeah, he's been around for 6 years. Thanks, Steve, and to all my patrons for making this possible and sending me out to enjoy the sights of the city, the construction, the new Rex sign. It used to be red. It's not red anymore. It's kind of blowing my mind, to be honest. Check it out. Anyways, these maps that I've been using in every episode, if you forgot, I'm going to be giving them away to all my patrons. So if you like maps of Paris, I hand drew each and every one of these, colored them in myself. They are a hot mess. They're delightful. I really have enjoyed carrying them around. If you'd like to grab one, I'll be doing a giveaway post at the end of this series. So next week over on Patreon, jump onto Patreon if you're an active patron and you want one of these, leave a comment and I might send one to you. We'll choose them randomly, but to all my patrons, thank you. And now back onto the show. And just across the street from Galerie Vivienne is BNF Richelieu, the Bibliothèque Nationale de France Richelieu. It's the National Library Richelieu. I said that way too many times there, but here we go. It is a library that requires a security check, but it's worth it. The museum upstairs in the Bibliothèque Nationale Richelieu is really nice. It's very interesting because it has quite the collection of coins, medallions, everywhere from ancient Egypt, Greece, Rome. It's an amazing collection. And there's something about it that feels really tangible. Like you could almost reach out and grab a coin and trade with it. Okay, what I missed last time I was here was the medieval collection that they have, which this is turning into a more modern section at the end of this hallway, but they have pieces from like the year 500 depicting the apocalypse in gold, which is amazing. It's just beautiful, like illustrations of St. Louis bringing back the crown of thorns. Just this hall on its own is lovely, and there's nobody here. And I really love this. It's beautiful. What you've seen on Instagram, of course, is going to be the Oval Room, which is it's an active library. There are a lot of students in there studying right now. Books that you can read. Of course, you have to be able to read French in order to fully appreciate the offerings here. But it is worth a photo, it is worth a visit. But for 10 euros, you can come upstairs and see the museum. The security guard that I was just talking to said they changed the collection, what's on display, about every 3 months. But the star map that they had in there, the giant globe, and some of the books, just, also the building itself is amazing. They've been renovating it for a long time, so it just reopened not that long ago. You should definitely come here. Even if you just want to pop in and see the library, it's wonderful. This constellation map is incredible. Suppose you find yourself in a museum and it's all in French and you can't read any of the pieces. Assuming that you have data, if you have Google Translate, what you do is you go into your Google Translate, like so, and there's a little camera button here. You tap that button, if I can do it, looking at the camera, and then it's gonna automatically find whatever text and translate it. I'll show you. So the text that is about this globe here is in French, and turn it to English just like that. So then it lets you know what you're missing. Of course, the translation isn't perfect, but it's gonna be a lot better than stumbling along in French if you don't speak it. If you're looking for a French brasserie experience, I have a number in my guide, and actually this neighborhood has a couple of them that are very, very good. But the Tambour has been redone in the last couple of years. The service is very nice, the food is good. It's in a very central location, it's easy to get to, and honestly, I've never had a bad meal here. It's a good brasserie experience. So if you're looking for some French food like a rotisserie chicken or maybe a steak frite, you can do much worse than the Tambour. I really enjoy the spot. And this is where we did a photo shoot like a year ago, last summer, I think, with my friend Jenica. So if you've seen photos of me sitting, having drinks with Jenica at a place that looks fairly French and, I don't know, fun, nice, this is probably the spot. This puree. It's so good. Montorgeuil, probably the most famous street in the second, and definitely a fun one to walk down. Very lively, lots going on, and honestly worth a visit. However, I think the best stuff is just 1 or 2 minutes walk off either side when you're walking down here. There is a lot to explore. So much food that I have seen that is on my list that I have yet to try. So much food that I have tried and I love and I wish I could go eat right now. I decided to eat French today because I know you want some good French options while you're here. Oh my gosh, there's so many other things in this neighborhood though that I really, really want to eat. However, while we're here in Montorgeuil, we're walking into Sentier, neighborhood just behind me. And Sentier, of course, has our alternative coffee, Boneshaker. And if you do want a French pastry, one of my favorite pain au chocolat in the city, on Rue de Nil, one of my favorite streets in the city, Terroirs d'Avenir. I was gonna do one of Terroirs' newest locations because they've opened up in a few spots around the city in an earlier video, but we got overloaded with options and it ended up getting dropped. But this is the OG spot and one of my favorite pain au chocolat in the city. Great bakery, but they've also got some really good other options down the street from here and in other parts of the city where you might find some fresh fruit and veg, and they generally just source things locally, are delicious, and are worth it. But when you're in this area, you're gonna wanna look for the yellow walls, and that'll tell you that you found the bakery of your dreams. This street, Rue de Nil, is just amazing in general though. Chocolate, wine, food, everything, it's amazing. Boneshaker. As described in my guide, is the only donut in Paris. That's technically not correct. There are a lot of donuts in Paris. Most of them are terrible, and a lot of them are just like, I don't know, they ordered them off Amazon and then iced them with something and put like Kinder bars on them. It's a really weird trend, but the donuts at Boneshaker are of a little bit more of a creative variety. Not over the top. Delicious. I got the Baby Got Back, which is a peanut butter and chocolate combination. Very good. There's a whole slew of other options, including some brownies. And if you happen to be craving a donut while you're here, this is the place to go. And it is decadent, and it is going to be an experience. Boneshaker is very welcoming, very warm, friendly. They speak English, their coffee is good, the donuts are bomb, and there's so many other fun things around here. If only one of the people in your party wants a donut, but you're all looking for something sweet, there are cookies next door. There's pastries around the corner. There's a lot of really good stuff in this neighborhood. This is basically like food central. There's so much good stuff up here. Sentier, Rue de Nil. You really cannot go wrong. I do not deserve this. It is so good. If you're looking for a beer and you want to give a French beer a try, Hoppy Corner is going to be a great spot for you. They usually have nothing but French beers on tap, although they've been cheating, I've seen. There are a couple of UK beers on the board right now. They are quite delicious, friendly, tasty. The service is always funny. Generally, they're just very, very nice. The food has changed since COVID. I'm not gonna go so far as to say you should come here to eat. Maybe eat somewhere else, but then come here for a drink. They do have some snacks in case you need them. Don't worry, they will be available, but the beer is why you're here. The environment, just generally loud, kind of fun, and you're gonna meet some locals along the way, which is great. They love Cooper. Hoppy Corner. Hoppy, happy. French beer, what do you want? Anyways, thanks for watching. This has been Paris in My Pockets 20 and 20 take 2 in the second arrondissement. We only have one more to go, so be sure to join us. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go back through, watch them all in the playlist. All 20 arrondissements in 20 videos in 20 weeks. Straight to your inbox, if you have an inbox. Nobody gets subscriptions in their inbox anymore. Why did I say that? Thanks to my patrons for making this possible. Thanks to you for being a part of the journey. And if you want all my arrondissement recommendations and much more, ParisMyPocket.com. See you next week for the end of the show.